Veolia just pulled the boldest corporate move of 2025 and nobody saw it coming. Picture this. You're in a meeting with water utility executives and someone starts playing a corporate rap video because their project leader, HR manager or controller are in there together with their CEO. Then later in the day, you scroll through Twitch and that same CEO of a $40 billion company is live streaming while she's also followed by a famous YouTuber through her daily activities. My straightforward gut feeling about that is that in just 72 hours, Veolia reached more Gen Z professionals than in the past 5 years combined. Now, I've been following Veolia's transformation for years, analyzing their strategy, metrics, stock performance, and industry reactions. I even interviewed several of their executives along the way, and what I found goes way beyond a simple PR campaign. So how does a 170-year-old water company become cool overnight? Can YouTube and Twitch solve the water industry's talent crisis? Is this just another corporate attempt to look cool, or is there something deeper at play? Let's review.
We'll make popcorn, stay up all night, and I'll teach you my secret language.
In the span of just a few weeks, Veolia orchestrated what might be the boldest corporate communication campaign the water industry has ever seen. Let me break this down for you because each piece of this puzzle is fascinating in its own right. First, we saw their CEO, Estelle Brachlianoff, streaming live on Twitch with Samuel Etienne, one of France's most respected journalists who's built a massive following on the platform. Now, if you're not familiar with Twitch, imagine a live, unscripted conversation where viewers can interact in real time through chat. There is no editing, no safety net, just authentic dialogue. And here's the kicker, the audience wasn't just passive viewers, they were asking questions, engaging, and getting direct responses from the CEO of a $40 billion company, sorry to insist. But Veolia wasn't done. Shortly after, they collaborated with Ludovic B, a prominent French YouTuber known for his following through people's daily jobs, usually spending one day with them. Again, this wasn't your typical corporate video. It was an immersive 2-day, this time journey through Veolia's CEO diary, first on their deep dive event I chronicled on this channel 2 months ago, and then also on the day they shared their quarterly results with Ludovic picking up Estelle Brachlianoff at the door of her house at 5 in the morning. So you see, in terms of format, here as well, we have an unscripted, authentic, dynamic, and engaging piece, exactly what younger audiences expect from their content, and I would honestly still classify myself in there.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
And in between came what I consider the masterstroke, a corporate music video. Now, I know what you're thinking. Corporate rap videos usually land somewhere between cringe and disaster, but here's where Veolia surprised everyone, or at least me.
So how bad is it?
They produced a professionally crafted piece where employees from all levels, from project managers to HR specialists to controllers, performed alongside their CEO. The production value was high, the message was clear, and most importantly, it felt, again, authentic.
We'll never give up because we can.
Let's pause here for a moment. Think about what we just witnessed. A 170-year-old utility company, traditionally associated with infrastructure and treatment plants, just executed a multi-platform digital strategy that would make tech startups jealous. And the engagement metrics are staggering. Those pieces are performing well to above average for the channels they feature on, and the qualitative and subjective feedback you get from the comment section is, again, very positive and highlighting what I'm also saying. It makes Estelle Brachlianoff very likable, authentic, and in turn, the entire Veolia simply cool. But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just about reaching young people. There's a sophisticated strategy at play here that touches every aspect of Veolia's business. So let's dive deeper into what's really happening. First, let's talk about the talent equation. We all know the water industry is facing a massive challenge. We need to attract the brightest minds to solve increasingly complex challenges, all while an entire water professional generation is massively retiring and we struggle to fill their seats.
Well, who wants to work at this stupid, fakey luau anyway?
The job is changing. We're no longer just talking about pipes and pumps. Even for a piping company like mine, we're dealing with AI-powered leak detection, predictive maintenance, digital twins of entire water networks, new processes to face new threats, all while battling water scarcity, always more extreme storms, and generally speaking, climate change.
Here we go again.
Euphemism of the year, the skill set we need has dramatically evolved. But here's the challenge. How do you convince a talented data scientist that optimizing water networks is as exciting as building the next fintech app? How do you show a young environmental engineer that they can have more impact working for a utility or large water company than for a trendy startup?
So, we're cool.
right? This is where Veolia's strategy gets interesting. Instead of just posting job ads saying, we're innovative, we use AI, they're showing it through action. When you watch the CEO comfortable on Twitch, engaging with a live audience, handling real-time questions, that sends a powerful message. It says, we get it, we understand your word, we speak your language. Same with the proximity and open doors showcased in Ludovic B's video, who calls her Estelle, or in the rap video that has employees from all levels participate, and I mean really participate, not just awkwardly standing in the background. They're showcasing, or maybe reworking, their internal culture. It all signals this isn't your grandfather's utility company. And to be honest, when I spoke with their digital solutions executive, Andrew Collier, what struck me was how this external transformation mirrors internal changes. Right now, Veolia is not just playing at being tech-savvy, they're actually transforming their operations. They're implementing Gen AI solutions, they're digitizing processes, they're fundamentally rethinking how a water company should operate in the 21st century. But let's talk about market differentiation, because this is where things get really fascinating, and I said that several times, I know. In the water sector, let's be honest, the core services don't vary dramatically between major players. Water treatment is water treatment, network management is network management, the technologies are similar, the processes are similar, and often even the people have worked at multiple companies within the industry. So how do you stand out?
That man's an imposter! That man is the imposter!
This is where Veolia's communication strategy has another perk. Think about the water market for a moment. When a city or industrial client chooses a water operator, they're not making a simple procurement decision. They're essentially choosing a partner they will work with for 10, 20, sometimes 30 years. It's more like marriage than a purchase. And here's where the psychology comes into play. Would you rather marry the traditional water company that communicates through dense technical brochures and formal presentations, or the company that demonstrates it can be both technically excellent and culturally dynamic, a partner that shows it can master both traditional infrastructure and modern communication channels? This matters more than you might think, because when we talk about water management today, we are increasingly talking about stakeholder management. You need to communicate with city councils, environmental groups, local communities, industrial clients, and increasingly with the digital native workforce that will operate these systems. Being able to speak multiple languages, both literally and figuratively, becomes a crucial differentiator. Look at what Xylem achieved with their Manchester City partnership. They made water sexy by connecting it to football. But what Veolia is doing here is, I would say, even more direct, even though not reaching 1 billion people, I give you that. They're not just associating themselves with cool things, they're actually being cool themselves. They're not just talking about innovation, they're demonstrating innovative thinking in their very approach to communication. And the market seems to buy it, as I covered with greater depth last time. Veolia's stock grew by 11.5% since Estelle Brachlianoff took over, and I would venture to say it's not just about operational performance, it's about market confidence in a vision that was, let's be honest, seriously put in question 3 years ago at the peak of the Suez merger.
No, I should have believed you.
Now, all that being said, if that communication strategy is bold, it also means it comes with risks and challenges, right? So first, let's address the authenticity elephant in the room. When I first saw the rap video, in all transparency, I braced myself for cringe. I even wanted to hate it. We've all seen corporate attempts at being cool that landed somewhere between embarrassing at best and catastrophic at worst. But if I'm honest, Veolia somehow nailed it, and the engagement metrics and comments across platforms tell an interesting story. Simply put, the reactions are overwhelmingly positive, so the question is, why? I think it comes down to execution and authenticity. Veolia didn't try to be something they're not, they showed who they actually are, just in a modern format. The employees in the rap video are not acting, they're genuinely participating, and Estelle Brachlianoff, sitting in a car with Ludovic B, is not reading a script, she's having a real conversation, and people seem to connect. But talking of that connection, here's when it gets tricky. What about cultural differences? I mean, you're watching me rant in English, so it's safe for me to assume that there is a tiny chance that you even know about Samuel Etienne and Ludovic B.
Who did you say?
Those are major but French-centric influencers, so how does this strategy translate globally? Will what works in France resonate in the United States, Singapore, or, I don't know, Brazil? This raises an interesting strategic question. What's next? Should Veolia partner with English-speaking influencers? And yes, since you're asking, I'm available. No, but seriously, the challenge of scaling this approach globally while maintaining its authenticity is non-trivial. There's also a deeper question here about measurement. Sure, we can track engagement metrics and stock performance, but how do we measure the real impact on talent acquisition, on partnership opportunities, on innovation adoption? These are longer-term outcomes that won't show up in quarterly reports. That's always the question with branding, right? And let's not forget about competition. When Xylem partnered with Manchester City, it set a new bar for water industry branding. But that was just a section of that branding. They also did the job of partnering with Imagine H2O, of building their innovation labs, of being that go-to large-scale technology platform. They earned their spot as the recommended pick to partner on technology. Now, Veolia is raising the bar and, I would say, catching up. But how will others adapt and respond? Are we entering an era where water companies will compete not just on technical excellence but on cultural relevance? If so, we're witnessing something bigger than just one company's transformation. For long, water companies are seen as these monolithic, slow-moving giants, yet we're facing unprecedented water challenges globally. Climate change, aging infrastructure, emerging contaminants, water scarcity. We desperately need bright minds working on these problems, and not just engineers. We need absolutely all types of profiles. And I need to mention the elephant in the room I already highlighted in my last pass on Veolia. Estelle Brachlianoff is a woman.
You don't say.
One of the only 3 leading one of the 40 largest French companies. Her staff, as seen in the deep dive event, but also in the various content pieces we're discussing today, is strongly built around women as well. And in an industry facing recruitment challenges while only attracting 17% of women, which is less than women priests or women taxi drivers, well, it matters. As I discussed with Kendra Morris some months ago, Veolia is, by the way, not stopping at a branding exercise. They're also leading a water-themed professional schools initiative. They're opening training centers in both the US and France, and graduates aren't obligated to work for Veolia. They could go work for any water company. So this is the definition of a rising tide lifts all boats, pun absolutely intended. They're not just solving their own talent needs, they're addressing an industry-wide challenge. But beyond the praise, you might be wondering, how can you apply that to yourself? Well, what we're seeing here is not just a marketing campaign, it's a blueprint for how traditional infrastructure companies can transform themselves for the digital age. It's about bridging the gap between the physical and digital worlds, between traditional expertise and new technologies, between corporate stability and startup culture. The question is not whether other water companies will follow suit. They'll have to. And I have examples of others that do it very right. No doubt, it's a trend. And a trend that starts from the very top of your organigram. Authenticity matters. You can't just slap a digital facade on an analog company. The transformation has to be genuine from the inside out. We often talk about water being the next big crisis, the next big opportunity, the next frontier of innovation. But you can't solve tomorrow's challenges with yesterday's mindset. What Veolia just showed us isn't about making water look cool. It's about fundamentally rewiring how we think about water companies, talent attraction, and industry transformation. When was the last time you thought, aside from my videos, obviously, wow, these water professionals actually get it? The real genius here is not in the execution of individual pieces, although they nailed that too. It's in understanding that in 2025, technical excellence alone is not enough. You need to be culturally relevant, digitally fluent, and authentically engaged with the next generation of water leaders. For the water sector as a whole, this is our chance to show that working on water challenges is not just about maintaining infrastructure, it's about innovating at the intersection of physical and digital. Will every utility try to make rap videos now?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
God, I hope not. But will every water company need to rethink how they engage with talent, partners, and stakeholders in this digital age? Absolutely. Because ultimately, this is not just about Veolia's transformation, it's about showing that the water industry, yes, the boring water sector, can be at the forefront of not just technological innovation, but cultural evolution too. Want to ensure you get a first-hand chronicle of that transformation happening? Then make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.